Hi everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my studio. Hope everyone's feeling good today and ready to experiment. I'm going to be giving this painting a go. I've already painted it once, as you can see, and I'm going to try and do it again. Now, something that people often talk about when they're learning watercolor or when they've actually been doing watercolor for a while is how to paint loose. And they want to be sort of painting outside the lines, so to speak. And there's lots of advice for how to do that, and a lot of it doesn't work. A lot of it is good advice, but doesn't necessarily cut the mustard, so to speak. What I'm going to do today is inevitably going to be loose. So if you're really keen on painting loose, I suggest you give Brusho a try. This is what it looks like when you buy a box of it. There's about $40 for a box of 12 colors. It comes in different assortments. And I'm not affiliated with Brusho. I'm not promoting them for any particular reason. I just have this in my cupboard and I thought, well, I really ought to try and use it. You only need to buy a couple of colors, or maybe 4 or 5 for this painting. And each one is around about $7 to $10 for one of these containers if you decide just to buy a few colors. And you'll never run out. I mean, once you've got one of these, unless you take the lid off, and I wouldn't take the lid off. Don't take the lid off. Please don't take the lid off because it goes everywhere. But what you do is you get yourself some push pins like this. These ones with little handles are good, better than the ordinary flat-headed ones. And then you make 3 or 4 little holes in the top, and then you leave the pin in the top like that, and that's how you store them. And that will keep them from going hard. They won't dry out like that because this is more or less airtight. And then when you come to use them, what you do is you just take the push pin out, and then it's like a pepper pot, and you can just sprinkle some of the color onto your paper. And that's the best way to do it. It's the only way of having any kind of control here. So I'm going to show you. It's easier to show you than to tell you. And you don't have to do the ink over the top, by the way. It all depends on what you want. I painted this and then I dried it, and then I decided to bring some more form into it a little bit with some ink, but you don't have to. It all depends how it turns out, really. So I'm going to put that on my book stand in front of me so I can see it, but you can't. And I'm going to now take a brush, any round brush, any brush at all, really. I'm going to use a round one and also a filbert. And what I'm going to do is just pick up some clean water, and then I'm going to put in basically some half circles for the heads of the flowers. And it doesn't really matter where you put them. And of course, you can't even see where you're putting them because it's only plain water. Actually, if you want to, you can tint the water a little bit so you could see it. I could do that. I could make it easier for all of us. Probably not a good idea to do it with green, however. So I've got 3 there. And this is the kind of painting, there's another one. This is the kind of painting that may or may not work. You know, you never know really. But it's fun. It really is actually quite fun. So there's 5 flower heads there on my paper. And I haven't given it too much thought as to where I'm putting them, but I've just kind of put them in a kind of random arrangement there. Then we go to the colors, and we go to the first color, which is lemon. That's the lightest color. And I'm going to carefully see where my damp bits are, and then I'm just going to shake my pepper shaker once or twice on top of those wet areas, trying to keep it not from going anywhere else, because it does go everywhere if you give it half a chance. So then we'll go to the yellow, and I'm going to do the same. Just one shake like that, and just don't touch it. Leave it to do its own thing. And you could say, oh, this would be fun to do with the children. No, don't. I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it because it will go everywhere. So we're up to the orange now. We've had yellow, lemon and orange, and I'm going to go for scarlet now. And so where it's kind of become a little bit more intense in those areas, that's where I'm going to concentrate, or try to. So there we are. There's our red and yellow tops to our daisies. And then this is where I sit down, because you can't really do that sitting down. Not easy anyway. Okay, so this is the exciting bit. Just wet your brush. I think, like I said, a filbert is probably a good idea for this. And then just drag the petals out. Like that. And it's definitely a process of, what's the word? Exploration. And all the colour will run everywhere. And it looks like loads of spiders crawling across the page. But don't worry, just keep going. And you can, oh, I forgot that. You can, at this point, adjust your composition a little bit. Maybe you think at this point, oh, I should have had another one up there. So maybe you'll just pop in a bit more yellow up the top, with perhaps a bit more scarlet. Don't bother about the other two colours. Okay, and I might put a bit more red in this one. It looks as if it's lost its shape completely. So that's that. And then the next thing, of course, when you get to this point in your flowers, you're going to want to put some leaves and things in. So we'll draw in some stems, first of all, in red, because that's the colour that we have. So we just bring those down like this. And then I'm going to put a few leafy shapes in here and there. And then we'll get the green. So we've got leaf green. And I'm just going to tap the green, trying to avoid, this is where you do need to actually be a little bit careful, just avoid the flowers because they'll just go brown if you put green on top of red. As those ones will up at the top there. Now, the green is a mixture of several rather violent colours. And what you need to do at this point is turn these into something where you're actually going to go in and mix, right? So we're going to just smush it around a bit like that and try to turn these areas into something that resembles leaf. And these ones are going to be a little bit different from, I mean, it's bound to be the case that the painting will be different from the one I did earlier. It wouldn't be art if it wasn't, would it? There we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the whole thing with water. I've got a little cheap spray here. It doesn't matter what it is. And then I'm just going to go over the whole thing. And what this does is it activates the paint wherever the Brusho has fallen, and the water hits it, and immediately it starts to run. And you get a very loose effect. So what I did with the other one at this point was I took a piece of tissue paper and then where I feel I might have a little bit too much colour, I'm just going to dab away a little bit. So you're doing a bit of like this here where that's run. A little bit of modification of nature. You know, this has happened spontaneously. And we're not going to try and change it much, just where the running has run away with itself, so to speak. So but you want all these nice areas of free flow. And at this point then, well, I think it might be a little bit heavy there. Yeah. So at this point, probably we need to let it dry, or probably even better still is to just get the hairdryer and whack it on and let that do its thing. Okay, so that's dry, and I think that's looking pretty pretty, don't you? So you have a choice. Some people would leave it like this. You could actually say, I think that that's an abstract floral and I'm happy to leave it like that. You definitely could. In fact, I might. But on the other hand, you could take various steps to develop this, and you could say, okay, I'm going to paint in a little bit more in a slightly more controlled way. So you could pick up some greens and you could put some leaf shapes in the background, a few, perhaps, you know, develop these ones in the front here. Or you could take a pen, any kind of fine liner, and do some line work. I want to mention a book actually here at the moment, since I'm thinking of it, called Ink and Wash Florals by Camilla Dambo Bricks. I don't actually have that book in colour. Actually, I have got it. I bought it on Kindle. It's very hard to read a book on Kindle though, don't you think? But anyway, she's got a book out which is quite interesting because she does a lot of ink and wash in watercolour, and this is something she could help you. If you got hold of that book, that would help you a bit with this technique if you're interested in it. I'll put a link to the book in the description below. It's on Amazon, of course. And also, if you want to watch a review of it, Kay over on Art Book Nook, I put a link to her as well, so you can go and watch it over there. You can see all the different pages of the book. She goes all the way through. All the way through the book, looking at every page. Now, the question is, what I'm saying to myself is, what do I want to do now? You can see the flowers quite clearly. That's obviously the head of the flower and the petals here and this one here and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I'd be perfectly happy to sit here and draw on top of that. Or alternatively, what we could do is I will show you now how I went from basically there to there earlier this afternoon. So let's do that, shall we? I'll show you exactly how this one was painted from scratch all the way through. So it's two totally different results, two completely different paintings at the end of the day, starting from exactly the same place. So I'll let you go. Highly recommend you get yourself a few bottles of this Brusho stuff, but don't give it to the children. So I'll say bye-bye for now, and happy painting. Bye everyone. Bye-bye.